Okay, so I'm going to take you through a quick run through of how to use Instagram stories and then also add them as highlights onto your profile. So you want to open up your Instagram app. At the top of your screen here, where all the little circles are of people's profile photos, that's where you're going to find stories. And so you can actually scroll through and see different stories that are up live right now. Now, stories only stay live for 24 hours on Instagram and Facebook. And you have the option, if you've connected your two accounts, you have the option to share them to both when you create your own. So to look at the stories, you're just going to tap on the profile picture of the person you want to see, and it's going to open up their story. And so you can see at the top, it's showing a progress bar of how far along you are in their story. So if I want to tap back and look at one I've seen before, I'm just tapping the left-hand side of the screen, and it's taking me back to a different picture in that story stream. I can do the same thing to tap forward by tapping the right-hand side of the screen, and it's going to take me forward. If I want to go to the next profile story, then I'm going to swipe the screen from the right to the left. And this is where you're going to see some ads come up. This one's an ad because it says sponsored at the top, and I can swipe again, and it's going to take me to the next person on my feed that's got a story posted. And again, I'm just going to tap on the right-hand side of the screen to move forward in their stories, or the left-hand side of the screen to move back. And again, swipe from the right-hand side to the left to go to the next story. And so that's how you view them. The first story there is actually your story. And so when it's grayed out like that, that means you've watched it. So I've already viewed my story, but it is still active right now because it's been less than 24 hours. So I can go in and view it again if I want to see it again, just to see how it looks. And so to create a story, you're going to click on the plus button at the top of your screen, or you can just swipe from the left-hand side of the screen over, and it's going to pop open your camera, and you can either take a picture, or on the left-hand side, it gives you different options. You'll see there's a little arrow down. These are all your different options of what you can do with your story. So I just want to create a story, and this is where you can just type in your own text and add different images and GIFs and all of these sorts of fun things. If I wanted to go to my library, then I would just have like photos on my phone. Then I would click in the top or the bottom left-hand corner, and that's going to pull up my gallery of pictures on my phone, and I can select from there. But I want to type one out today. So if you scroll along the bottom here, you're going to see your different options. And so if I wanted to add a GIF, if I wanted to do a poll or a question where people can ask me a question, you can do a countdown. You can also do a poll. So there's a couple of different options of what you can do here. And so I want to type a new guide out now. And so when I'm just doing regular text like this, you can see at the top a couple of different options here. You can see this is your alignment on the, I'm tapping the left-hand side of the screen. Middle is where you're going to change the style of text, and I'm just going to keep tapping on it to do a different kind of style of font. And so when you go to certain ones, you'll notice that there's another icon that pops up on the left here with an A with a couple of little stars. So when you tap on that, that's what's going to give you like a background on your text. And so I want to do something like that, but I don't want the background on it. So I'm just going to hit next. And so there it is. If I want to edit it, I can just tap on it and then I go back into it. And so it's changed it on me, so I don't want that. And then to move it around or make it bigger or smaller, I'm just going to tap on it and hold, and then I can drag it around my screen. You can use 2 fingers to make it bigger or smaller, and then to kind of twist it and turn it around. And then at the top here, you're going to see the rest of your different options for your story. So I want to change my background. I'm just going to tap on the colors there. And if I want to add more text, And again, I want to make this one have a background. I like that one best. And then if you look at the other feature here, the A with the lines beside it, that's the movement option for that different kind of text. And so you can actually make the text move. If I don't like the way that it looks, then I just tap it and it turns it off. If I want to change the type of text it is, at the bottom here, you're going to see different options here for the different types of text. And then with the different types of text come different ways that it can be animated. So again, if I tap that at the top, that's a different way that it animates that text. So then when I've selected the one that I want, I hit done. And again, you just tap and drag and move it around. Now, the other thing that you want to do is look at different stickers. So stickers are a great way to add fun elements to your stories and ask questions or mentions and that kind of thing. So stories is that little kind of square with a happy face in it at the top. So you click that, and these are all of your stickers. So different elements that you can add to your story. Oops. So you can tag a location in your story, you can mention somebody else, you can ask a question, you can put in a sliding scale. So if you want to ask people how they like something, you can add that little sliding scale. That's this guy. And then you can also search for different ones. So I like putting in link in bio. I'm just going to hit search. And it's going to come up with a couple of different emojis. But then if you keep scrolling down, it's going to show you little GIFs. And so I don't want anything too crazy. So it just adds a couple. You want moving elements in your stories because it makes them fun, it makes it dynamic, and it catches people's attention. Don't forget that they're going to be scrolling through stories pretty quickly. So you just add different elements in there. So I really recommend you look around in your stories or in stickers, and then try different things. You can add a time there. You can do a countdown. If you have an event, you can do a countdown. So then they'll actually be notified of when the event is coming up, is happening. So there's a couple of, so I really recommend you kind of look around. You can add GIFs in here, which are a really fun way to connect with your audience. People love GIFs. You can add music too, and you can just search for different types of music and you can add that in there. So there's a lot of really fun ways. And then when you're ready to post, you're just going to hit the add to stories, your stories in the bottom left-hand corner. You can also send it directly to a different person on Instagram. You can only send it to your close friends if you have that set up. And so if that's all I want to do, then I'm just going to tap on your stories and you'll see there's also a Facebook icon there. So it's going to share it to both my Instagram and my Facebook because I've connected my two accounts. So I click that and then it loads and it's ready to go. So I can click on it and I'll see that it's up there. And now it's actually added it onto, you'll see at the top, there's two lines. It's added it onto the last story that I posted because it's been less than 24 hours with this one. So the other thing you can do with stories, if you want to keep them for longer than 24 hours, you can add them to what's called your highlights. So if you go to your profile, which you get there by clicking in the bottom right-hand corner, your little profile picture, and it's going to take you to your profile. And so these center circles here are your highlights. And so I've created them custom. I've created my own little highlight cover pictures, which I recommend that you do. Otherwise, it just takes like a little glimpse of whatever the first story is in that highlight, and it tends to look a little bad. So what you want to do is create, and you can create as many highlights as you want. And you can just create these in something like Canva, and they have a bunch of templates for you, so you don't have to start from scratch. And then you're going to want to label them as kind of a theme. So if you have photos or stories that you share as a behind the scenes, or if you're sharing like tips, or you can see in mine, I've got kind of nature moments. So times that I share when I'm outside and in nature. I've got my free guides, highlights, and then inspiration. So I want to add that story that I posted yesterday. I want to add that to my free guides highlight. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. I can click on each of these highlights and view them. but I want to show you first kind of how you can go through it. So I'm going to go to my story. Oh, see, and this is great. It's been 24 hours since my last one was posted, so that one's now gone. This is the only one I can see. Before I could tap back and look at my other one, and now it's gone because it's been 24 hours. So this is a great way. So if it's been 24 hours already, but you still want to add that to your highlights, you just click on the highlight that you want to add it to. And then you're going to click more in the bottom right-hand corner and edit highlight. And then this is where you can also edit your cover, edit the title. So you want to go over to your stories, and it's going to pull up all of your stories. So your most recent one will be at the bottom. So the one on the bottom right is the one we just created, but I want this one, the pink one that I created. I'm just going to hit it to select it. The little check mark comes up and hit done, and it adds it for me. And then you'll see it'll rearrange your highlights for when you last updated them. And so I can open up that highlight, and I can tap through. These are what I added to my highlights before. And then there's the new story that I just put up yesterday. So that's how you can edit your highlights. If you want to create a new one, you just hit on the new button and you select the story that you want to start creating with. And then you can go through the option of uploading a cover and then give it a title and all of that fun stuff. Another way that you can add a story to your highlights, if it's still active, you can just tap on it and then highlight the bottom, and you can add it to your highlight down here. You can create a new one, you can add it to an already free guide. So that's just a quick run through for stories of how you can do them on Instagram, how to add them to your highlights. So I really highly recommend stories. Are really one of the most popular ways that people use Instagram right now. So I really encourage you to go in and play around with it and really see what kind of fun you can have with it. Stories are a great way that brands can have fun and kind of almost deviate from their core marketing pillars almost, because you can have fun with it and they're only up for 24 hours. So if maybe you don't post some personal things on your profile very often, your stories is a place that you can do that, because it's just going to kind of come and go. It still gives you an option to connect with your audience and share a little bit of a personal side without having it on your profile forever. So it's a lot of fun with them. You can also put videos up in your stories. They can only be 45 seconds long, and it'll string them together into a series of videos. And that's always a really fun way too. If you've got something that's time sensitive, if it's going to expire, then you want to put it in your stories. If you put it on your post, you run the risk of people seeing it on their feed too late. So that's another way to use stories as well. So I really encourage you check that out, play around with it, and then let me know how it goes. And if you need any help at all, then always feel free to leave a comment or reach out, and I'm happy to help in any way I can.